Coverage continues with pro-Palestinian protests disrupting college commencement ceremonies all across the country.
Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lokri spent the afternoon talking to UMass Amherst students ahead of their commencement weekend. She joins us live on campus with their concerns. Reagan?
That's right, Abby and Chris. I spoke with several students picking up their caps and gowns today, and it seems that there's a lot of mixed reaction here on campus about concerns of potential interruptions during commencement ceremonies. I spoke with Kala Garrido, who is graduating on Saturday. Garrido was also one of the protesters arrested back in October during a sit-in where students demanded the university cut ties with war profiteers. She tells Western Mass News when you put everything that's happening overseas into perspective, she feels standing up for the rights of Palestinians is more important than a smooth graduation ceremony.
I've heard a lot of people saying stuff around how they're worried about graduation getting interrupted, and I just want to put where we are into context and put that concern into context with the fact that thousands upon thousands of people are getting murdered in Gaza, and every single university in Gaza has been destroyed.
I also spoke with Amherst Fire Chief Tim Nelson, who tells us the fire department is already gearing up for a busy weekend and any potential protests on campus. Western Mass News did reach out to UMass for comment. They provide us with a statement that reads, planning is proceeding for UMass Amherst commencement. As with all major events, plans are developed to welcome and host our guests. UMass Amherst firmly stands by the rights of individuals to exercise their right to free speech in a fashion that does not conflict with the rights of others in attendance to take part in the program. Now, coming up tonight at 6, we hear from more graduates on their concerns ahead of commencement on Saturday. Reporting live in Amherst, Reagan Lokri for Western Mass News.